My name is Hannah Rachel Smith.
I'm Erin Gafarian.
And this is the Clinton Arrow Podcast.
I already forgot what it was called.
Yeah, what is it called? Clinton Arrow Podcast?
You know, it's so fun being in here because I was just telling you earlier, this is where it all started. This was my old English class, and then I got to hand it off to Erin. So you've done a good job keeping it up.
Oh, thanks.
Some of the posters still look familiar.
Yeah.
All right. So as we get rolling, tell us who you both are.
My name is Hannah Rachel Smith. I teach English 2 here and then am one of the 2 student council sponsors. This is year 9 or 10 for me as a teacher here, but I am a Clinton High School alumna, class of 2008. So this is truly home for me. And then this is, I think, year 4 for student council for me as well. I spent time on student council as a student. So again, it's very much home.
Erin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Erin Gafarian, and I teach Honors English 2, and I'm also helping out with student council. This is my first year doing student council, though, so I'm along for the ride. But this is year 4 to 5.
I think 5.
My first year here was COVID.
Yeah.
That I just remember that. And so it's been an experience because I'm not a Clinton baby, but I love it here. So
Yeah, your first year was COVID because my first year out of this classroom and in this
that's
position
right, yeah.
was COVID. That was
Yep.
fun. 12 days of PR and 2 years of crisis communication. But we handled it well, and we're here now. So kind of tell us a little bit about, we'll take it from a micro to a macro level with homecoming. Tell us everything that's going to happen here next week at Clinton High School for homecoming festivities. Everybody's got their dress-up days. Kind of, how does that process get where it is, and then how do people participate?
How much time do you have? Okay, so the process for us actually starts pretty soon after we come back to school. Even starting in July, we have to work backwards. And so Erin and I sat down and mapped out our calendar. We start with homecoming date, which is the 20th, and we back up. So we've got to nominate for maids. We've got to vote for homecoming maids, and that there's a vetting process associated with that. And then once we elect the maids, we meet with them, give them the rundown of all the events. They've got to pick out their outfits. They've got to meet with us and you for publicity photos. And then we will start with Spirit Week on Monday. We have our dress-up days that the students decide on, and that culminates on Friday. We'll start Friday morning with the pep rally. We'll have lots of parents here. We'll have some elementary classes here for the presentation of the maids. And then after lunch, we start, after the pep rally, we have to go practice for halftime.
Right.
So the maids and other participants, we go out to the field. We make sure everybody knows where to be, when to be there, how to be there. And then after lunch, we'll switch to parade preparations. There will be numerous students dismissed from the building to go to their floats. We meet at Traceway at 3 o'clock. Parade starts at 4 o'clock. We go from Traceway to the first entrance past the football field. We'll talk more about the parade in a minute. And then the maids go fluff again, and we fluff ourselves. Yes. And then we switch gears for halftime.
Yeah.
And so the maids will come back to campus. They'll have professional photos taken. They'll be presented at halftime. And then we switch gears again for our homecoming dance.
And it's all in one day. That
is
whole thing
all
is
in one
all
day.
one day,
It's a really
which
Yes.
busy day.
is fairly new, 5 to 10 years new.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we did that my senior year. And then I think it switched back for a time, and then now it's gone back to all on one day. And there are mixed feelings and mixed reviews, but from our standpoint, it is nice to get it all over with in one day and keep the momentum
Right.
up.
Do you remember the Spirit days off the top of your head right now? I have them on my phone just in case. That's what
Yes.
I
I know
Yes.
Monday is pop culture.
So Monday is Pop Culture
Culture.
Day, which some of these I remember with us being in high school, it was always 80s Day
Right.
and whatever.
Yes.
Now,
there
like
is there is a Generation Day.
Yeah.
One day,
Yes,
I think.
that's
and some of that
Thursdays.
is like Y2K kind of stuff. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, that's great. That's when I was in
Right.
10th grade. So,
Really
you know,
much
we're
of
all, I was telling somebody the other day, I'm 6 weeks from turning 40. So I can still be a kid for 6 more weeks. But so you've got Monday, you've got Pop Culture Day. Pick your favorite character from Vine, which kills me that the kids know what Vine
I know,
is.
that's
today.
crazy.
You know, I'm not convinced they actually know what Vine is. I think they just
They just watch the reruns. That's what it is.
Yes.
They watch the
Tuesday,
reruns.
Mathletes versus Athletes.
Tuesday, yep. No, that's Tuesday is Marvel and DC.
Okay.
I'm just
Really excited about
I'm about
that.
to say,
versus
really excited.
Athletes.
So Superman or Captain America, Marvel,
Yeah.
DC. Wednesday is Mathletes versus
Okay,
Athletes.
okay.
You've got Jordan or Einstein. Take your pick to see who wins. Thursday is Generation Day. The sophomores are supposed to dress as babies, which just kills me. The juniors are as adults, and the seniors, of course, as senior citizens. And then Friday, which is supposed to coincide with the pep rally, is Escape Reality. Dress as your favorite board game or video game character. Which do you have a board game character or video game? You're coming, I'm assuming, dressed as like Mario or
We
something.
have a plan. Should we reveal our plan?
I think it should be a surprise.
Okay.
Okay.
Our plan is a surprise.
Yeah, okay. Pay attention to all the social
You can catch
medias,
with us
and you'll be
next.
able to see it.
Yeah, catch back up on Friday.
Yes. Yes, mainly because it exists in our head right now, and that's about it. So
Yeah.
we still have some things to take care of before our plan comes to fruition.
That's good. So tell me a little bit now. You were talking about the parade. The parade way back in the day, which I guess is our time, and then way back in the day, which was my parents' time, it was very much high school centric.
Yes.
Now, y'all tell me a little bit about how the community participates, and it's really K through 12.
Let's see.
Well, it all starts with a Google form.
Yeah.
Yes. So we reach out to all the building level principals and get the information out to them. And usually we have a group from Clinton Park and a group from Northside that walk in the parade. I think they use it as part of their behavior incentives,
Right.
Or accelerated reader, maybe. Meeting those benchmarks. And so they always do a great job dressing on the theme. They'll participate. And then in the past, we had Cam Akers ride in the parade one year. We've had representatives from the Miss Mississippi organization ride in the parade. It just kind of depends on what's going on in the town at the time.
Right.
And then otherwise it is mostly school groups. We'll have clubs, we'll have athletics, and then we have the class floats for student council, so the grade level floats that are judged, and there's a winner announced at halftime. And
Where does everybody, if you want to participate and watch, where does everybody need to park? And then also too, for my wife's going to kill me for saying this because we're giving away some secrets. What are the best times that people need to show up to get a good parking spot?
So school is still going on here before the parade happens. I think the best spots are down between the football field and Northside, Eastside. A lot of people will back into the grass there and truly have like a tailgate experience. So you can line up, 3:30 or so.
Yeah, I mean, I always remember walking out the door here to immediately go to the parade, and there's already people
Yeah.
up and down the street.
Yes,
So-
it gets very crowded right here at the very end. So I think the best viewing point is kind of the middle of the parade. We do start at Traceway, so there will be people there under the bridge at Clinton Park. Yeah, I would say probably depending on the weather that day too, because if you get here too early,
Yeah, it can be a
It's
little
supposed
hot.
to be pretty nice, though.
And that's the thing
Friday,
I was just
think,
thinking. It is supposed to be pretty
once
nice.
that rain comes through.
yeah.
Once this week, because we're recording
And then-
today, Monday. It will be released Tuesday. And so we've got a week and a half of fingers crossed that the weather is going to be better than it was last year. Last year was hot.
Hot.
Aaron, tell me a little bit about, you're, like you said earlier, you're new here. You're not born and bred like the rest of us, but you're very much a Clinton Arrow at heart. Mm-hmm. And now this is your first year getting to participate with student council. Mm-hmm. You've seen it from the outside, and now you're very much in the inside. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about how this process has been just these 7 weeks.
It's definitely a process. Learning how to do everything and being more helpful than just like a sidekick.
Yeah.
Very busy homecoming season. Like I've always seen it in passing just because we teach English together and talk about things, and being involved as just a teacher, but being firsthand involved, like she'd be like, oh, we got to make signs for the cars. I'm like, okay, so how are we going to do that? Like we have a whole plan with that. And it's also really fun getting to see the kids be involved in it too, the student council kids, and planning their floats and talking about things during the little homeroom time. They can get a little rambunctious, but
they're just having fun.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. So you hit the nail on the head right there with the kids. So getting to see it's very clearly sponsored by adults, but it's run by the students. What have you seen and noticed about the maturity of this group? Because like you said, they're kids, they get rambunctious, but there's a maturity about them that they can be real good leaders.
Yes. So there's always, they have a plan and a process for like building their floats and getting their T-shirts sold and handed out in the beginning of the year. There's obviously some seniority with who does what and when, but it's just nice to see a set group of kids that have that leadership potential that not all of them do.
So teaching English, every student who comes through Clinton High School starts out in our little quad right here in English 2. And so you teach every type of student.
Yes, you do.
It's nice to see these kids, like you say, with this true potential and this maturity. It gives you hope.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and it's nice that we can be hands-off because we are very type A in our classrooms with our actual students, but with our student council students, we can be more like you handle this, and if we're talking to you directly about something, that means that you maybe aren't doing what you need to do, which is very few and far between, but it's really nice to just, here you go, it's your homecoming.
Yes, if you want it to go well, and if you want the student body to enjoy this, it's your show.
Because they're going to come to you if it's not what they want it to be.
As they should. They're the representatives. I very much know what that's like. So I'm very glad that they're getting a taste of this early on. So Hannah Rachel, you said earlier you were part of student council way back in the early 2000s, which in all sincerity was before the iPhone existed. So there we go. But now being the sponsor of it, you kind of come full circle. How are you trying to put forth your experiences and then bring it into being the one kind of leading it?
I try to keep in mind just that it is a tradition, and we still use the same white columns at halftime that we've used for quite a few decades now, but there is kind of a magic to that. I think this community being as tight-knit as it is, and so many people now back living here, putting their kids through school here, working here, they like to see those traditions played out. And I think it's important for school culture, community culture, knowing that we're not just doing things the same way because we've always done them that way. For a lot of these traditions, they really are rooted in that family-like atmosphere. So I know this year we have the class of 2004 doing their, what would that be, a 20-year reunion?
Yes, because I was 03 and ours was last year, and it was 20, and I thought, I'm too young.
Yes,
this isn't right.
Class of 2004, and so, that's when you have groups come back to Clinton who don't still live here, and so they get to see that familiarity of, we're teaching kids in the 2020s, but they're still supporting the Arrows just as well as we did 20 years ago.
All right, last bit of advice for anybody wanting to participate in that wonderful week. Pep them up.
Pep them up. All right. It is a Monday morning.
Yeah, you're going to have to pep me up first.
It's not even 9 o'clock.
I haven't had any coffee.
Okay. There are, well, so as a matter of fact, somebody from Northside messaged me just this morning asking for our dress up days. So they are going to get on board with dress up days at the elementary level. I've had the junior high and Sumner Hill reach out as well. So just that continuity of it's Spirit Week, all looking forward to that Friday. The parade, of course, anybody and everybody is welcome.
It starts at 4.
Starts at 4:00
From Traceway.
From Traceway, yes.
So closer to the high school, it's going to be more 4:15, 4:30.
Yeah. I would say the whole thing usually lasts 30 to 45 minutes. Last I checked, with the number of floats that we had at the end of last week, I would say it's going to be a typical parade length for us. And then, of course, anybody, we would love to fill the stands at the game.
Yes, come to the game.
Yes, we're super impressed with Coach Carr and what he's been able to do with the football team so far. We've got our first pep rally this Friday, so I think that's really going to get the students hyped up about next week.
Very excited about that one.
You'll have your coffee before that one.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Coffee and
We'll leave
earplugs.
the house with it. Yes.
Yes.
Earplugs.
So, and then any Clinton High School student can attend the dance afterwards, and we're putting those details out at the school about tickets for that and in their class canvas pages. So it should be a great week.